Kristen, the flow physicist, and this is my tech talk on Triads body-centered hex grids. The only prerequisite to this class is having seen my other tutorial for body-centered grids with double staffs. First, let's talk about what this grid looks like. Using my handy-dandy hand, you'll see that this grid makes, in fact, a beautiful hexagon around your body, same as the other square grid. The triads touch at 3 points, and they're all oriented the same way. So you'll see there's a spoke that's facing up in each of them in this case. Thank you, hand. So if we understand that's what the hex grid looks like, let's now talk about what extensions and anti-spins are in this grid. So similarly, the extension is when you have your wrist rotating the same direction that you move around the grid. I'm going to leave this one here for reference as a visual. So if I do that with this triad in my right hand, you'll see that the one spoke is always pointing outwards from the center, and that we eventually slide into that top position. It's going to continue to go until it overlaps with the other triad, until we finish the pattern and end up on the same side. It took us 3 times to get there. So what about the anti-spin now, which would just have your wrist going the opposite direction that you're moving around the grid. In this case, much like the other body-centered anti-spin, you're going to isolate the point you're moving about and rotate your prop in that direction around the grid. So if I isolate this top point to move my right triad to the top, you see I rotate through like opening a book until it ends touching the triad on this side, filling in this top grid slot. If I want to move down to my reference triad, I'm going to isolate this point as I bring my top triad through, and it overlaps with the reference triad. And then finally, we isolate the bottom point to open up the anti-spin and revert back to our original position. So this is the hex grid, body-centered grid, which we'll need as we talk about future hex grid developments. Thanks for tuning in, and check out my next tutorial, which will be on point-centered hex grids. Thanks for coming to my tech talk.